Emma in Winter by Penelope Farmer. 4. The next morning, Emma got up rather earlier than usual, and, as soon as she was dressed, went to lean on the windowsill, looking out over the lawn where the beech trees grew and swallows skimmed in summer. It made her sad to see how the beech trees suffered beneath the weight of the frozen snow, the ice so rigid on them that they could not bend with their usual suppleness. And it was lucky, she thought, that the swallows did go away in winter, for between the raised snow level of the lawn and the bowed-down branches of the trees was less than the wingspan of a swallow. They could not have dipped or dived or skimmed there, as they always did. Even through the window, she could hear the protests of the laden trees, their creakings and crackings and sighs. In places, great branches had broken off already, and there were fierce white scars on the trunks, and the snow beneath them was littered with these big branches and with smaller ones, and with a web of jumbled twigs that were black against the snow like insect legs. As Emma watched, Joe Bomble came out upon the lawn. He stood quite still under the beech trees, scratching his head and looking up at the scarred trunks. Then he bent and, picking up one of the fallen branches, stared at it for a moment before throwing it down again savagely. Though Emma could not hear him sigh, she knew he was sad, like her, to see the trees suffer so. Downstairs, however, she found quite another consternation altogether. Miss Gosling protesting uselessly, apologizing, Grandfather Elijah complaining loudly, though Emma, not having washed, had failed to notice. Nor did she now care that the pipes had frozen up in the night, and neither hot nor cold water came out from the taps. Grandfather Elijah declared he could stay not a moment without hot water, that he would go up to London to his club and remain there till the pipes were mended. Emma muttered that he had already stayed in the house much longer than a minute, and muttered even lower that he could stay away forever for all she cared, neither of which mutterings, luckily, her grandfather heard. He went off at the same time as Emma set off for school, in the same wheezy taxi that had taken Charlotte away, so long ago it seemed. But, though he waved at Emma trudging down the drive, he did not offer her a lift to school, and when the taxi turned out of the drive and onto the hill, and she was safely out of sight, she put out her tongue at it, and at the memory of Grandfather Elijah hunched on its leather seat. Yet she felt, to her own surprise, a little desolate, for after all, Aviary Hall was a large and lonely house to be alone in, with just Miss Gosling for company. Thinking of this, she felt sorry for herself, and she dawdled so much down the hill that she made herself late for school. "Not a good example for the head girl to set," said Miss Halibut, loud enough for everyone to hear as Emma crept in at the big green door, and Emma said, "Sorry, Miss Halibut," like wood speaking, seeing the school children grin, and Molly Scobb seeing the school children look grim. And Molly Scobb looked smug and slouched back to her desk, defiant and furious to spend the time till playtime, trying to see how many rude faces she could pull at Miss Halibut without her seeing. But if the schoolmistress noticed, she said nothing at all about it. And we'll pause there.